how was the Bay Area?
Bay Area was great. I hate talking about the weather all the time in these press conferences, but we actually had weather cooperation for once, so that was nice. I think that was very helpful for our athletes to have a good meet. It was a great show, especially from the distance runners, I would say. We had a school record broken. We had one athlete who's second all time, very close to breaking another school record, and just a lot of PRs across the board. So it was a very good weekend for us.
Can you talk more about that? Just how you believe how it worked to prepare for that, to get those PRs and everything, and also those breaking those records then?
I'm sorry, could you say the first part of the question again?
Yeah, sorry. A little disorganized there. So could you talk about just how you prepared, like for last week's meet and everything, like what you did to, like in terms of practice and everything then?
Sure. Well, I don't coach the distance runners, so I would have to, talk more specifically to the distance coach who broke that record. But in general, I think track and field is kind of something where you train pretty much the same way, week in, week out. You have, a set amount of mileage that might fluctuate slightly. You might taper a little bit, if you have a big meet coming up or at the end of the season, when you're trying to peak out. But aside from that, the training is pretty consistent most of the year. As we're starting to get into these bigger, more important meets at the end of the season, I think the athletes are doing things that are just more specific in their training to their focal events. Earlier in the season, it's a little more general, and as we get later, it just becomes more specific to their event distances. So they might be doing more speed work, or if they're an 800-meter runner or a 1,500-meter runner, they might be doing, well, I don't know if they'd be doing more or less mileage for 10K runners, but did that answer your question?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So tell me about the meet coming up now.
So this weekend we're going over to Chico. It's traditionally been a twilight meet. They changed the format a little bit this year, but they're basically going to have the 800-meter seated and invitational section on Friday night. They'll have the steeplechase and the 5K on Friday night, and then the rest of all the track and field events will be on Saturday.
So what do you expect out of this meet coming up?
Every week, we're always looking for good performances. We're always looking for more PRs and people to just keep chipping away at their times, for jumpers and throwers to be adding on to their marks. So every week is just another opportunity for our athletes to try to do that.
So it was mentioned to me about there are some youth meets coming up as well, so do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So this week, today, Tuesday, and on Thursday, we're hosting a couple youth meets. We put this on in cooperation with Six Rivers Running Club and the Humboldt Redwood Youth Running Club, I believe it's called, just as an effort to try to reach out to the community and to the kids specifically, try to get them interested in track and field. For the little kids, it's an introduction to what the sport of track and field is, just to try to get them excited about it and wanting to get out and be active and have a healthy lifestyle. I think it's a good opportunity for the kids to be around our collegiate athletes and look up to them and get help and coaching from them. More than anything, they just see them as role models. And it's a really cool opportunity for our student athletes in turn to be able to work with them and to be able to give back to the community a little bit. And it's also just a good opportunity for them to try to teach these youth athletes. A lot of them, they're very, very young, and they've maybe haven't done track or technical events very much. So it's a good opportunity for our athletes to help them and teach them and coach them. And it's always beneficial to teach because it helps them learn their events even better. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. It's a lot of fun. I think we're going to have a pretty good turnout with the youth meets this week. So it's going to look like an under-8 soccer game, probably, with little mobs of people running around everywhere. But it's usually a lot of fun for everybody.
A couple quick questions for you, Coach. Can you talk about the type of competition in terms of other schools that will be coming up for the Chico meet?
Yeah, the Chico meet is kind of spread out. I know there's going to be some Division I programs. There's always some JCs there. In terms of our conference specifically, I'm not sure who's going to be there this weekend. I haven't had a chance to look at the accepted meet entries yet. I believe I saw that Fresno is supposed to be there. UC Davis occasionally comes up. Obviously Chico, is usually a perennial powerhouse in our conference, so there'll be plenty of really good competition there for us.
HSU sent 7 to national championships last season, outdoor national championships. You got a chance to go and have some folks compete at Stanford this past weekend, and the Chabot meet was also a pretty big meet. How do these big meets help your student athletes get prepared for the end goal, which is the outdoor national championships?
Yeah, one thing that the big meets offer is just a higher level of competition across the board. If you're running something like a 10K and you're running it by yourself the whole time because there's nobody that's at your level, it's hard to be pushed to that extra, performance that's going to help you to make the national list. So having, more competition in all these events definitely helps with that. I think also just having more of a kind of a big meet atmosphere that doesn't always help with the performance, but it helps prepare the athlete for what those meets are like, just in terms of their mental approach and making sure that when there's a big crowd and there's a lot going on and there's a lot of ways you can be distracted, sometimes it's harder to access your coach or vice versa. It gives them a chance to experience that before it's really critically important, so they get a chance to deal with that and make sure that they come up with their strategies on keeping a cool head and running their same race or whatever event they perform in, and being able to be more autonomous so that they don't rely on their coach all the time, but that they know what their game plan is and they know what they need to do to execute that.
Thank you.